Welcome, beautiful Sigma ladies. Starve the ego, feed the soul, and watch the parasites die of hunger. Sounds poetic, maybe, but for the Sigma female it's just Monday. Here's a cold, hard fact. Narcissists aren't drawn to weak people. They're obsessed with powerful ones they can't control. And nothing rattles their ego like a woman who doesn't flinch, doesn't chase, and doesn't care to clap for their grand performance. That woman is the Sigma female. Now let's be clear. This isn't your average strong woman tale. This is psychological warfare, because when a narcissist meets a Sigma female, it's not a battle. It's a slow starvation. No yelling, no drama, no emotional wrestling. Just quiet execution, like watching a phone battery die slowly in airplane mode with no charger in sight. This is the story of how Sigma females don't fight narcissists. They drain them until there's nothing left to feed on. Get ready. Because once you see how she does it, you'll never look at silence, solitude, or self-respect the same way again. Number 1. She sees the narcissist as a case study, not a connection. Sigma females don't get emotionally tangled with narcissists the way most people do. While others get pulled into the charm, the games, and the emotional roller coasters, the Sigma female keeps her distance. She watches everything, processes everything, but doesn't bite the bait. To her, the narcissist isn't some mysterious, irresistible figure. He's just another walking red flag wearing cologne. She sees him for exactly what he is, someone who's addicted to control, validation, and ego-stroking. And she's not giving him any of that. The moment a narcissist starts love-bombing, trying to impress, or playing the victim, she starts analyzing. Not reacting, analyzing. She's emotionally present, but not emotionally accessible. She doesn't fall for smooth talk or fake vulnerability. Instead, she's mentally filing away patterns, decoding behavior like a human lie detector. While others are thinking maybe he's just misunderstood, she's already diagnosed him with a high-grade need for attention and an empty core. This throws the narcissist off, hard. They can't handle being read like a book and tossed aside like one too. They're used to people falling for their mask. But when that mask starts slipping, the Sigma doesn't try to fix them, heal them, or save them. She doesn't romanticize the broken parts. She just sees a grown adult refusing to grow up emotionally, and that's not attractive, it's pathetic. Even worse for the narcissist, she doesn't fight or argue when she sees through the act. She just quietly detaches. She doesn't need to expose them. The power is in the fact that she knows, and they know she knows. That alone is a psychological death sentence to a narcissist who thrives on being mysterious, misunderstood, or feared. While others fall under the spell, the Sigma female treats them like a case study. That lack of emotional investment is brutal. It's not hatred, it's not revenge, it's indifference. And that's the one thing a narcissist cannot survive. They don't just want to be loved or admired, they want to be important. And when a Sigma female looks at them and feels nothing, it breaks their illusion of superiority. And that, for a narcissist, is the beginning of the end. Number 2, she doesn't break, she upgrades. When a narcissist sets out to break a Sigma female, they expect the usual script. Emotional collapse, desperate texts, maybe a public meltdown. But that script never plays out. Instead, she disappears for a while, goes quiet, and when she returns, she's not just healed, she's leveled up. Her glow-up isn't just physical or surface level. It's internal, sharp, and untouchable. That emotional upgrade blindsides the narcissist because they were counting on her to fall apart, not come back stronger and more self-possessed. The truth is, Sigma females don't spiral when someone betrays or tries to manipulate them. They recalibrate, they go inward, face the pain, process it in silence, and come out sharper, smarter, and more powerful. While the narcissist waits for the emotional fallout to feed off, all they hear is silence, not even a whisper of chaos. And that silence? It's a funeral march for their ego. What makes it worse is that she doesn't just move on. She evolves. Her boundaries get firmer. Her energy becomes even more selective. She might change her routines, elevate her goals, or cut even more dead weight. She doesn't try to win them back or prove anything. Her progress becomes her revenge, even though she's not out for vengeance. She's just focused on the next version of herself, the one the narcissist will never get access to. To the narcissist, this is infuriating. They wanted her broken, needing them, spiraling, but what they got was a woman who used the pain like rocket fuel. She doesn't talk about them, stalk them online, or plot a comeback scene. She just upgrades quietly and lets her new life speak volumes. And now, all they can do is watch from a distance as someone they tried to diminish becomes someone they'll never deserve. That kind of transformation. It doesn't just bruise the narcissist's ego, it demolishes it. Number 3. She doesn't give them a mirror, she gives them a wall. Narcissists survive by bouncing their image off others. They need someone to reflect their fake greatness back to them. That's why they chase people who will admire, praise, and feed their fantasy of being special. But when they come across a Sigma female, they hit a wall, hard. She's not there to mirror their delusions. She doesn't play along, doesn't stroke egos, and definitely doesn't applaud their performances. She listens, maybe nods, but gives them nothing to feed on. To a narcissist, this is pure psychological starvation. They'll try their usual tricks, humble brags, fake vulnerability, exaggerated stories, waiting for the usual validation. But the Sigma female just blinks, no reaction, no spark in the eyes, no emotional hit. It's like trying to get applause from a brick wall, and that drives them mad. She doesn't flatter, she filters. She sees through the ego inflation and rewrites the script silently. Instead of thinking, wow, impressive, she's thinking, what are you hiding behind all this noise? The narcissist, expecting admiration, gets nothing but a blank stare and uncomfortable silence. That silence? It's their worst nightmare. It means they don't matter. It means they're not getting in. They start pushing harder, doing more, trying to break her cool. But the Sigma isn't cold. She's clear. She knows what's real and what's performance. And since narcissists are all performance, they get nothing but her emotional firewall. They can scream, guilt trip, even rage, but there's no reflection coming back. No echo, just a hard, unmoved wall. Eventually, the narcissist starts feeling invisible, irrelevant, and powerless. That's the one thing they can't survive, being unseen. They need the mirror to keep the illusion alive, and when all they get is a wall, their fake identity starts to crack. She doesn't destroy them with anger, she breaks them with absence, no reflection, no fuel, no game. And for a narcissist, that isn't just rejection, it's annihilation. Number 4. She has no emotional weak points, only observational distance. Narcissists prey on emotional vulnerability. They probe for weak spots, test boundaries, and exploit anything that feels tender or reactive. But when they encounter a Sigma female, they're thrown completely off balance. She doesn't react the way most people do because she doesn't operate from emotional desperation. She operates from distance, not coldness, clarity. She sees the game without getting pulled into it. Instead of giving in to emotional bait, she analyzes it like a puzzle. The narcissist tries provoking her, pushing her buttons, fabricating chaos just to get a rise out of her, but she doesn't rise. She watches, quietly, like someone taking mental notes during an experiment. No drama, no panic, just detached awareness. And that kills the narcissist, because what they need more than control is emotional chaos, and she gives them none. Where others would break down or argue, she leans back. Where most would cry, question, or seek closure, she gets quiet. That silence is terrifying for a narcissist. It means she's not under their spell. It means she's not giving them the emotional energy they need to fuel their manipulation. Her emotional composure makes them feel irrelevant, and her ability to stay grounded makes their tactics look ridiculous. They throw emotional grenades and she sidesteps them like she's done it 100 times before. And honestly, she probably has. Because Sigmas don't avoid darkness, they study it. They've seen toxicity before. They've survived it. So when a narcissist shows up thinking they're a threat, she's already 10 moves ahead, unbothered and uninterested. What makes it even worse for the narcissist is that she's not playing hard to get. She's just not available for nonsense. There's no hidden wound to exploit, no emotional shortcut to access her, no sob story they can manipulate. She's emotionally self-sufficient, and that's the one thing they can't stand. Because if they can't provoke her, control her, or shake her, they can't use her. And that realization leaves them powerless. While the narcissist is flailing for attention, the Sigma is calmly observing the collapse. No tears, no drama, just quiet detachment that screams louder than any confrontation ever could. Number 5. She doesn't just ignore, she forgets. When a Sigma female is done, she's done. Not the kind of done where she secretly hopes you'll come back or stalks your social media in the dark. No, she deletes you, not to punish, but because you no longer exist in her reality. She doesn't sit around needing closure, validation, or some grand apology. She creates her own ending. Delete file, clear history, move on. To a narcissist, this is hell. They can handle hate. They can even handle heartbreak. What they can't handle is being forgotten, like they never mattered. And that's exactly what she does. She doesn't just block their number. She blocks their access to her energy, her mind, her life. She doesn't rehash old arguments or bring their name up in conversations. She doesn't even think about them, and that mental vacuum is where the real punishment begins. See, narcissists thrive on being remembered. Good or bad, they just want to occupy space in your head. They feed off your attention, your pain, your confusion. But when a Sigma female gives them nothing, no memories, no mentions, no emotional residue, it's like they never existed. And for someone whose entire identity depends on how others react to them, that's worse than revenge. It's annihilation. They'll try to provoke a response. They'll post things, send messages, try to trigger nostalgia or guilt. But it's like shouting into a black hole. No echo, no signal, no trace. She's not just done with them, she's done processing them. She's already made peace, learned the lesson, and moved forward so fast the narcissist is still stuck back at the scene of their last manipulation, wondering why the spotlight's off. And the cruel irony, the more they try to crawl back into her awareness, the deeper they realize they're buried in her past. Unmarked, unmissed, and unrecoverable. For someone who needs to be unforgettable, being erased is the ultimate defeat. And she doesn't even have to lift a finger. That's not ghosting. That's erasure. And the silence left behind, it screams louder than any goodbye ever could. Number 6. Her validation is unavailable, and they know they'll never earn it. Narcissists are addicted to validation. It's not just something they want, it's something they depend on to feel like they matter. That's why they usually target people who are quick to reassure, easy to flatter, and eager to please. But when they encounter a Sigma female, it's like walking up to a fortress with no door. Her validation isn't something you can charm, manipulate, or weasel your way into. It's not up for grabs. It's earned, and only by people who are real, solid, and built with integrity. That realization hits a narcissist like a punch to the gut. They're used to working rooms, flashing their fake humility or inflated success to win admiration. But she's not clapping, she's not impressed. She's not giving out approval like free samples, because to her, respect is sacred. It's for people who deserve it, not those who demand it. And the narcissist? They know deep down they don't even qualify. At first, they'll double their efforts. More charm, more theatrics, more grand gestures meant to impress. But every time they try, they're met with that same quiet stare that says, "Nice performance, but I see the wires." That psychological wall becomes unbearable. They want her approval not just because they crave it, but because they can't get it. And that denial, it gets under their skin like an itch they can't reach. It's not that she's cold or arrogant, it's that her standards are high, and she doesn't compromise them for anyone, especially not for someone wearing a mask. And the narcissist knows that even if they pretend to be who she respects, she'll still see through it. There's no shortcut. No manipulation tactic, no fake charm that will crack her vault open. So now, they're stuck in limbo, craving validation from a woman they can't deceive, can't impress, and definitely can't control. That locked vault becomes a symbol of everything they aren't, and every time they realize it, it eats at them like rust on steel. Because for the first time, their usual tactics aren't just ineffective, they're invisible. And to a narcissist, there's no pain more brutal than being irrelevant to someone who matters. Number 7. She sees their power plays as amateur hour. Narcissists think they're running a masterclass in manipulation, dramatic pauses, guilt-laced monologues, fake vulnerability, and the classic, "you'll regret losing me" threat. But when they perform for a Sigma female, they're met with a reaction that rattles them to their core. Zero. Nothing. Not even a blink. Because to her, all those power plays look like something out of a low-budget soap opera. She's seen it all before, and she's bored. She doesn't argue. She doesn't defend herself. She doesn't scramble to fix things or prove her worth. She just watches, like she's sitting through an amateur school play with a half-asleep cast. That blank stare, it's not indifference. It's a silent audit of their desperation. The more dramatic they get, the more obvious it becomes that they have nothing real to offer. Just smoke, mirrors, and recycled tactics that might have worked on others, but fall flat with her. When they try guilt-tripping her, "After all I've done for you," she doesn't flinch. When they pull the triangulation move, mentioning how others find them more lovable or desirable, she internally rolls her eyes. When they throw out the "you'll never find better" line, she's already mentally drafting a list of ways she's upgrading. Because her self-worth isn't built on outside approval. It's built on awareness. And awareness is the one thing a narcissist can't manipulate. And here's the brutal part for the narcissist. She's not even offended. She's uninterested. They're not dealing with someone who's resisting their manipulation. They're dealing with someone who finds it childish. And for a narcissist who believes their tactics are cunning, being seen as predictable is humiliating. Every move they make lands with a thud. No spark, no drama, just silence. And nothing starves a narcissist faster than being ignored mid-performance. Without an audience, their act collapses, their ego deflates, and their illusion of control crumbles. To the Sigma female, it's not a battle. It's a parade of red flags waving in high definition. And she's not fighting it. She's already walked away, leaving them performing for an empty room, wondering why the spotlight just disappeared. Number 8, she has zero need to belong, and that breaks the control cycle. Narcissists thrive on your fear of being left out, abandoned, or excluded. That's their leverage. They dangle connection like bait, making people jump through emotional hoops to stay in their circle. Because most people need to belong. But a Sigma female, she doesn't just tolerate solitude. She lives in it like a queen in her fortress. She doesn't fear being alone because she chooses it. So when a narcissist tries their favorite weapon, threatening to withdraw affection, walk away, or find someone better, all they get is a shrug, maybe a soft, amused smirk, but no panic, no begging, no reaction. And that absolutely kills the narcissist. They expect emotional collapse. They want that wide-eyed fear that says, "Please don't leave me." But with a Sigma female, what they get is silence and distance. She doesn't chase, she lets go. Not because she's heartless, but because she doesn't base her worth on other people staying. She's not driven by social validation, groupthink, or emotional dependence. Her center of gravity is internal, not built on approval but on self-mastery. This breaks the narcissist's entire control cycle. If they can't manipulate her with rejection, then their game falls apart. It's like trying to control someone using a threat they find laughable. "I'll leave if you don't," and she's already unlocking the door for them. Even worse, she won't talk about it. She won't make dramatic speeches or post vague quotes online. She just continues, unbothered. And when they look back, hoping to find a broken, regretful version of her waiting, they see nothing. Just silence. Just evolution. That's what shatters them. The realization that they never had her in the first place. She was never emotionally tethered to them. She was observing, learning, assessing, and once she saw the truth, she exited like smoke through a crack. She doesn't need the tribe. She is the tribe. And when someone can't be manipulated with isolation, they become immune to the narcissist's entire playbook. That's not rejection. That's emotional freedom. And to a narcissist, it's the most terrifying thing in the world. Number 9, she withholds her energy like a queen withholding her throne. Narcissists run on energy like fuel. They crave it constantly, whether it's attention, admiration, affection, or even conflict. To them, any reaction is better than silence because it feeds their sense of importance. But a Sigma female? She flips the script entirely. She guards her energy like a queen guards her throne. It's not something she hands out freely or casually. Access to her attention and presence isn't an automatic right. It's a privilege, earned only by those who genuinely deserve it. This puts narcissists in a tight spot. They're used to barging into people's lives, draining emotional resources like it's their birthright. They expect that if they push hard enough, through charm, manipulation, or even provocation, they'll break down walls and get the reaction they want. But with a Sigma female, the gates remain shut. She doesn't just withhold kindness, she withholds her entire energetic presence. No validation, no engagement, no fuel to keep their games alive. Imagine a narcissist pacing outside a castle, banging on the gate, screaming for attention. Inside, she's calm, collected, and unbothered. The rage builds on the outside, but inside she's untouched. Her energy untouched, her peace intact. This isn't passive resistance. It's a deliberate, powerful act of control, where she decides who gets in and who stays out. Narcissists hate this because their power depends on energy theft. They thrive on draining others to inflate themselves. But when the well runs dry, when the queen refuses to let them even draw a drop, they're left cold, powerless, and furious. No amount of manipulation can force entry where energy isn't willingly given. That's the ultimate starvation. Not just ignoring them, but denying them the very lifeblood they seek. The irony? The more they rage and push, the more firmly she holds her throne, and the more they realize they'll never rule her world. Number 10. She doesn't react. She studies. When a narcissist launches their usual provocations, insults, manipulations, gaslighting, the typical response is emotional, a flinch, a tear, an argument, or desperate pleading. These reactions feed their twisted sense of control and power. But a Sigma female? She doesn't play that game. Instead of reacting, she studies. She watches quietly, absorbing every detail, every pattern, every tactic like a scientist observing an experiment. There's no anger, no panic, no tears, just calm, precise observation. This silence is more powerful than any outburst because it denies the narcissist the drama they crave. When they see her eyes calmly tracking their every move, it throws them off balance in a way no emotional reaction ever could. To a narcissist, this lack of reaction feels like a crack in their armor being exposed. They realize their usual tricks aren't working, and worse, they feel naked and powerless under her quiet scrutiny. The control they thought they had slips through their fingers because she's not hooked by their bait. Instead, she's collecting ammunition, the evidence of their patterns, lies, and weaknesses. This study mode transforms the dynamic. She's no longer a target or a victim. She becomes the strategist, quietly preparing her next move. And narcissists hate it because they can't manipulate what they don't understand or provoke what doesn't respond. This calm, unreadable presence becomes their worst nightmare, leaving them exposed, frustrated, and ultimately starved of their usual emotional feast. Number 11. She's immune to status symbols and surface tricks. Narcissists often parade around with flashy cars, designer clothes, expensive gadgets, and a meticulously crafted image meant to dazzle and intimidate. They believe these symbols of status are keys to unlocking admiration, control, and influence. But Sigma females see right through the smoke and mirrors. To her, those surface tricks are just desperate attempts to cover up emptiness. She doesn't get caught up in the glitter or the brand names. She's learned that money and fame don't guarantee character, depth, or integrity. Instead, she looks for substance beneath the facade, the real essence of a person, not the billboard they put up for show. And when she realizes there's nothing behind the mask, she dismisses it without a second thought. This immunity hits narcissists where it hurts most. Their carefully built kingdoms of status crumble instantly when met with genuine indifference. They can shout about their wealth or social circle, but she won't flinch. Without her awe or envy, their status is just an empty suit of armor, powerless to impress or intimidate. The deflation is brutal. Like a balloon losing air, their ego shrinks fast when the applause they so desperately chase falls silent. It's a reminder that all their glitter is just a fragile cover for an insecure, hollow core. And to a Sigma female, that's the ultimate weakness, because no designer label or shiny toy can substitute for real power, which she carries within herself. In short, she starves the narcissist by refusing to be dazzled by their shallow performances, forcing them to confront the emptiness beneath. And nothing frustrates a narcissist more than being exposed as all surface and no substance. Number 12. She's a closed circuit, They can't plug into her power. Narcissists operate like energy vampires, always hunting for a socket to plug into, someone to drain emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. They need constant access to feed their insatiable hunger for validation and control. But a Sigma female? She's a closed circuit, completely off-grid. She's self-charging, powered by her own internal energy source that no one can tap into or short-circuit. Her emotional and spiritual sovereignty means she doesn't leak energy or leave openings for narcissists to exploit. She's like a fortress with no weak points, no cracks for them to squeeze through. Unlike others who might give in to emotional manipulation or crave external approval, she recharges from within. This independence leaves narcissists stranded, looking for an outlet that simply doesn't exist. When a narcissist tries to feed off her, they find an unbreakable barrier. No matter how hard they try to tap into her energy, it's like trying to plug a device into a power source that's been permanently shut off. They get nothing. No reaction, no validation, no emotional fuel. And without that supply, their control fades, their charm loses power, and their influence collapses. Eventually, this starvation becomes their undoing. In the shadow of a Sigma female's unyielding self-sufficiency, narcissists wither and die, not because she fights or battles, but because she simply refuses to be a part of their feeding frenzy. Her closed circuit is the ultimate rejection, a silent, unyielding statement, "You will not consume me." And for a narcissist, that is the most devastating defeat imaginable. In the relentless game narcissists play, their power depends entirely on feeding off others, on control, reaction, and the emotional energy they so desperately crave. But the Sigma female operates on a different frequency altogether. She isn't a prize to be won, a mirror to reflect their grandiose illusions, or a stage for their drama. She's a force of nature, independent, unyielding, and profoundly self-sufficient. By withholding the very things narcissists depend on, attention, validation, reaction, and energy, she starves their influence until it withers away, powerless and exposed. What makes this starvation so devastating is not just her silence or her refusal to engage. It's her complete mastery of herself and her environment. She doesn't just resist, she transcends. She turns every attempt to control or provoke into an opportunity for growth, observation, and ultimately, evolution. While narcissists flail in their desperate need for dominance, she remains calm and collected, wielding detachment like a shield and strength like a sword. This dynamic shifts the entire balance of power. Narcissists are accustomed to easy prey, those who flinch, plead, or scramble to maintain the illusion. But the Sigma female refuses to play that role. She rewrites the rules, rendering their tactics obsolete and their strategies impotent. She doesn't just survive their games. She dismantles them with quiet, unshakable grace. In a world where emotional manipulation is often hidden behind smiles and charm, the Sigma female's refusal to be consumed stands as a radical act of defiance and self-preservation. She starves narcissists to death not with violence or vengeance, but with something far more powerful, her unwavering sovereignty over her own mind, emotions, and energy. Ultimately, the lesson here is profound. True power isn't about domination or control over others. It's about owning yourself so completely that no one's chaos can penetrate your peace. The Sigma female embodies this truth, and in doing so, she becomes a living testament to what it means to be untouchable, impossible to break, impossible to feed, and impossible to control. And that, more than anything, is what kills a narcissist's reign. If you found this insight into how Sigma females starve narcissists to death powerful and eye-opening, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more content like this. Like this video if it resonated with you, drop a comment below to share your thoughts or experiences, and don't forget to share it with someone who needs to hear this. Your support helps us keep bringing you content that cuts through the noise and gets to the truth. Stay strong, stay sovereign, and I'll see you in the next one.